and welcome to Abuja Today on AGTV. I am Ilya Beauty, your host. Well, elections are just by the corner. PVC collections are ongoing, but there are some questions that are yet to be answered. One of such is, how well do Nigerians know their electoral officials at the polls? Well, in the streets of Abuja, let's hear what Nigerians have to say.
I know we have a returning officer. Then we now have, agents. And well, I am not too covered, but I know the principal person is returning officer.
The INEC doesn't have direction because I once upon a time partake in it. You will see this one is also the group, this one election observers. You may not even know where they come from, so they don't have specific direction.
Okay, we have presiding officer. We have the party agents also are there. We have the clerk, the people that did actually do the accreditation.
INEC, Resident Commission of state officials, local government officials, and ward officials.
Welcome back. Well, you have heard what Nigerians have to say. Joining me in the studio to discuss PVC collections and the broad knowledge that Nigerians have towards the election today in the studio is none other than Theophilus Sunday Chigudu, Public Affairs Officer, INEC FCT. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, we would begin. How ready is INEC for 2023 general elections?
Okay, a good question. I'm sure lots of Nigerians are actually anticipating a very, 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 very credible, peaceful, and inclusive election. So to that, I would say INEC is, if there's anything above 100%, INEC is extremely, extremely ready for the 2023 general elections.
Okay, so what are the innovations that INEC is putting in place to ensure a hitch-free election?
Okay, to start with, it used to be, the slogan during every election used to be, we want free, fair, and credible election.
Yes.
Now it has changed to free, fair, credible, and inclusive election. That's an innovation on its own.
Okay.
We're bringing in what wasn't there before. Now, inclusive in the sense that INEC has made provision to include every Nigerian in the electoral process, and inclusive in the sense that persons with disabilities are being considered, are given a priority in this election. That, for instance, on the day of election, INEC has made provision for magnifying glasses for the visually impaired people, that yes, you use it to see and then know the party you're voting for. And then they've also made provision, INEC has also made provision for interpreters, maybe those with sign languages for the deaf and the dumb, to ease their communication, and then a whole lot of things. And then some of the innovations also, like you are aware of, we have the electronic voting machines and all that, like the bimodal voting accreditation system, that is the BVAS. And then we have electronic transmission of result, and then a portal also created for you to check your results and then everything. So whoever comes to the polling, gets to the polling unit, INEC electoral officers or election officers on duty would attend to you using the BVAS for the accreditation. They check the card, verifies the authenticity of that card, to be sure that you are actually at the right polling unit. The BVAS will tell you if the polling unit you are is not the polling unit supposed to be to cast your vote. So a whole lot of innovations have been introduced by INEC, and the aim is to ensure that we have a free, fair, credible, and inclusive election. INEC believes in equal participation by Nigerians. And then the good thing is that we have on record, I think about 65 persons with disabilities are also candidates in this coming election. And hitherto, we didn't have people like that. We believe that everybody should have a say. The right of a Nigerian is one of our fundamental rights, is right to vote and be voted for. So if you are the persons with disability, you have equal rights with people that are not having any form of disabilities to cast your vote and also be voted for. So that is why it is now called inclusive election. So the target is to see that Nigerians get one of the best elections in the history of Nigeria. And I always say there is no better time to be a Nigerian than now.
Okay, well, that's your word for it. You talked about the people.
Yeah.
Let's look at that angle a bit. You see, it's been observed that quite a lot of Nigerians don't know about the electoral officers, that is, those at the polling units. They don't know who does what. They don't know who takes the result. They don't know who is announcing. They just know they should go to the polls and vote. Don't you think they should be more educated?
Okay. You see, one thing with INEC, just like the election is an open thing. INEC doesn't operate in secrecy. So if you check our INEC social media handles, INEC website, on the television, just like we're here now, INEC has been sensitizing people, educating the people, involving stakeholders in the communities to see that the people are well informed about the functions and activities of INEC. Now, on the day of election, at the polling units, there are different types of election officials there. We have the presiding officer, we have the assistant presiding officer. They had APO 1, that's assistant presiding officer 1, assistant presiding officer 2, 3. Now we have security agents. Of course, you already know their responsibilities to ensure orderliness and during the polls. We have, of course, party agents also are there. Now, the presiding officer is the officer in charge of the election at the polling unit, assisted by assistant presiding officers. Now, for lack of sufficient time, I cannot possibly explain the duties of every of these officials. But so you know that if you get to a particular polling unit, every election officer has his or her own tag displayed or in the tag attached to either his pocket or hung in the neck for you to know that, okay, this is the person. And then the APO3 also assist in controlling of the crowd, the queue. Yeah, so all these APO 1 to 3 assist the presiding officer. Everybody has his particular role, but ultimately their responsibility is to ensure that the election is well conducted at the polling unit. Then we also have the likes of supervisory presiding officer that supervises the presiding officer that supervises the conduct of election in that area. So there are quite a number of election officials at the polling unit, each with a particular role at the polling unit.
Okay, well, this is just for those our audience watching the program, because clearly there needs to be more education in this field.
Yeah.
It should be as broad, as wide as go to the polling unit and vote is. You understand it? So everybody will know the functions of these electoral officers. Well, or if we add that those that care to know, but everybody needs to know the functions of the
No, of
electoral
course,
officers.
of course.
Anyways, let's proceed. PVC. A lot of people have collected their PVC, but Abuja is one of the states in Nigeria, or Abuja is the nation's capital, is one of the places that very few people have collected their PVCs.
No. We that's contrary to the statistics we have.
Okay.
Abuja is not one of the states that have not collected their PVCs.
Okay.
Rather, Abuja is one of the states or one of the places people have actually collected PVC in large number.
Okay.
All right. But before I proceed, do you have your own PVC?
Of course.
Okay, fine. That means people are collecting PVCs.
Okay.
You get
Now
the reason why PVC collection ends on 29th of January.
Yes.
And that's because INEC thought it wise to extend the collection of PVC to 29. Initially, it was to end on to close on 22nd of January. Yeah, but now the collection is still going on at the registration areas. The ward levels.
Okay.
at the ward levels. Abuja, for instance, has about 62 wards. All these 62 wards have INEC officials at various wards giving out PVC, and people have been going out to collect their PVC. We've had cases of people actually commending INEC's effort in giving out PVC. Yeah. So the thing is, most people, for whatever reason, maybe impatience and all that, you get there and you see a large number of people. What is expected of you? If you don't get there on time, you stay in the queue. We'll make sure that from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., officials are at the ward centers to give out PVCs. And you don't spend more than 5-10 minutes. As long as your name appears in the register and your PVC is there, you're giving your PVC and you go. So it is stress free. But some, for lack of patience, you get there and you think you have better things you say to do, like some would often say. They will leave, and then the next thing is they will tell people, it is very difficult to get my PVC. Now you record over 200-300 collections every day.
Okay. What was actually observed is that it's not even on the part of INEC in this case. The part now that INEC needs to play is to educate the people the more to get their cards. You understand it? Because urban area, the city center where we find ourselves, a lot of people are so busy with their work that they don't find time to go to the polling units.
So that is why the collection takes place even on Saturdays and Sundays for people that hardly or rarely have time to, because of their work schedules, to go pick up their PVCs. And then the thing is with INEC in INEC FCT and INEC generally all over the state is that almost on daily basis, INEC officials, the REC and others go around these centers to monitor the exercise, to take records, to also encourage people at the polling unit to maintain orderliness, wait in line for your card. And this thing has been going on smoothly. We've not recorded any crisis anywhere in the FCT.
Okay. Well, before we go, let's talk about those that cannot get their PVCs, those that have not located their ward, or those that don't even know how to get their PVCs. Okay.
Knowing how to get your PVCs, I don't think it's the case here. Yeah, because we know that as long as you're registered, yes, and then you know where you are going to vote, the first thing that comes to mind is, where am I going to vote? What polling unit am I voting? What ward did I choose to vote? All right. Okay. So now INEC has made provision for cases like this. If you have no idea where to pick up your PVC, there is a cell phone number that has been, that if you go to INEC head office FCT here, the 774 local governments in Nigeria, there are contact details of INEC officials attached to every ward. And then there are contact phone numbers also for people that cannot trace or locate their PVC. You send your PVC number to this, your PVC unique code to this number, and they reply you with your location and where to pick up your PVC. And then the sensitization information is going around the television, radio station, newspaper, social media, just to sensitize the people to pick up their PVCs.
Okay, well, there you have it. INEC is assuring us of a free and fair election.
Inclusive
election. Well, do yourselves and all of us a favor. Go to the polls, cast your vote. You cannot complain about government if you are not even picking a leader. So you have to go to polls, you have to elect one, and then hold them accountable. And one of the ways to do this is with your card, with your PVCs. Well, this is where we'll draw the curtains from the program today. Please be sure to join us next time, and make sure you subscribe and share this video. Thank you. I remain Ilia Beauty, saying have a great day. Thank you.